Hello everybody.
Next up, it's to Germany where we trek, where once more we'll be hosted by Freiburg in the last 16 of the Thursday Night League. Kick-off is at 8 p.m. UK time. Now, I mean no disrespect to the good people of Freiburg, but this is just one of several ties in this competition where teams that faced each other in the group stage will end up facing each other in the knockout stages once more. Just seems a bit of a shame, that's all. Having said that, there were definitely harder draws possible, so perhaps we shouldn't fuss too much. When we last met them back in December, they were sitting in 8th place in the Bundesliga. A few days after we beat them, they beat Köln 2-0 at home, which was their third league win in a row. Something of an improvement during a season where they've had problems putting anything resembling a run together. However, since then, they've just won the once in 9 games, that being a 3-2 win over Hoffenheim on 20th of January. Of the other 8 played, they've lost 5 and drawn 3. Their last outing was a 2-2 draw at home to Bayern, a game which, if you check it out on the web, contained 4 cracking finishes as Harry Kane strives to maintain his record of having won fewer medals than Freddie Potts. This run of results sees them in 9th place at present. Of course, our meeting in December has meant that we topped the group, meaning that it was they who had to negotiate an extra round and not us. Drawn against Lens, they drew 0-0 in France in an even and rather unremarkable first leg. The second leg was a bit more noteworthy though. 2-0 down at half-time, they pulled one back through Salah, and with 22 minutes left. However, it wasn't till the third of an eventual 6 stoppage time minutes that the equaliser came, again through Salah. The eventual winner came from Grigoric in the 9th minute of stoppage time. Daisy told me that they made 2 signings during the window. However, although both Hungarian midfielder Attila Szalai and Kosovan midfielder striker Florian Muzilia were signed in time, neither were added to their Thursday night squad. The Szalai signing was a little bit interesting. He arrived on loan from Hoffenheim and was actually on the bench during Freiburg's win there. Straight after the match, the interested parties adjourned to the boardroom and the player signed for Freiburg still wearing his Hoffenheim gear. On the injury front, they'll be without long-term absentees Daniel Kofi Kaere, who's got a knee problem, Max Rosenfelder, Achilles, and Kenneth Schmidt, who's got an abdomen strain. Austrian centre-back Philipp Liehart has been out for the better part of 3 months with a groin strain. One understands that he's returned to training, but this is likely to be a bit too soon for him. Enough, or genug, as our German cousins would say, of them, and let's move on to the wild and wacky world of association football. Well, the one thing we learned from last week is that PGMOL really want Liverpool to win the league, don't they? Dropping the ball at their feet like that when it was Forest that had been in possession was just something else, even by the dodgy standards of both Liverpool and PGMOL. Can you imagine the furore had the boot been on the other foot? Well, yeah, we saw that earlier on in the season when PGMOL forgot themselves and saw one go the wrong way. As usual, the authorities have acted in their usual knee-jerk shoot-the-messenger style, with Forest and coach Stephen Reid having been slapped with an FA charge, whilst referee Paul Tierney has been punished by having a nice weekend in the warm at Stockley Park, where he'll be doing his best to assist with the ruination of Arsenal versus Brentford. He wasn't even dropped, the feet up in front of the box coming as a result of what was described as normal rotation, which sadly does not in this case involve the use of a spit. Elsewhere, the Spanish tax authority is after a 4-year plus sentence for Carlo Ancelotti should he be found guilty of tax avoidance, the issue arising from his alleged hiding of payments made in respect of image rights. Now, over the years, he's been a damn successful manager, there's no argument about that, but he's not someone you'd normally associate with having much of an image to sell. Still, it takes all sorts, I suppose. And so to us. That was an odd one at the weekend. Yeah, I know they had all those shots and Areola deserved all the man-of-the-match plaudits that went his way. Incidentally, he didn't make the BBC Team of the Week because, whilst Garth Crooks noted his multiple saves, the one that Kelleher actually made for Liverpool was apparently much more important. Genuinely. Despite all this was a game in which, much like the home side I suspect, I never felt in my gut that they were actually going to score. And the last 2 goals, well, we had excellent finishes for those, didn't we? Souček's clever volley was sublime, whilst Alvarez's little dink at the end was equally impressive. Cornet's the sole injury problem. His tweaked hamstring will keep him out for a bit. We have two players in danger of missing a second leg through yellow cards if they pick up another one in this one, those being Emerson and Alvarez. So things are going okay. You may see one or both of those hooked during the latter stages. As for the prediction, well, it's a case of what a difference a couple of days or even weeks make. Had I been writing this a couple of weeks back, I'd have found it hard to make a positive forecast. However, with our mojo back, I can take a more optimistic view of things. So the £2.50 I received from the boss of this very website for my own image rights, and yes, I still owe him the change, this will be going on a wager at Winston's Turf Accountancy Emporium for an away win. Let's call it 2-1 to us, shall we? Enjoy the game, or das Spiel genießen.